If you like ducks, dogs, training, deer hunting, anything outdoors, then this is the podcast for you guys. This is the Flying V Podcast. I'm Thaddeus Bash. I'm your host for this beautiful ride, and I'm assisted by my co-host, Mr. Changmore Vang. You can tune in every week and join us as we talk about anything and everything under the moon that you guys want us to talk about. Some facts, some fiction, and a whole lot of opinions. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's hop into it.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of 50 States of Waterfowl. By far, one of my favorite projects that I've ever endeavored on. And this one is a total blast. This week, we've got the well-anticipated Arizona coming up on the channel for you. So, this should be a pretty fun episode. It's going to be hard to top last week's Alaska, but I think Arizona might actually pull through and surprise us. And we should be able to make a pretty good show out of it. As you know, myself and Vang have both kind of been iffy about Arizona, I guess you could say.
There's a lot of questions.
I find it hard to believe that it's going to be great, but Colin is going to join us today. He's going to share Arizona duck hunt with us, and I think he might actually surprise us. We might have an underdog on our hands here for the running of the best state of waterfowl, but I don't know. He's going to let us know. I haven't really got the chance to sit down and actually talk with Colin very much, but he was kind enough to volunteer his time to help us out in our search. And trust me, it's not easy to find people who duck hunt in Arizona, at least not via internet. So before we hop into everything, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's been supporting the podcast so far. If you just stumbled across this episode by chance, then go ahead and check out our other two episodes in our series, 50 States of Waterfowl. Each week, we're bringing on a guest from one state to just come on and shoot the shit about ducks for about 30 minutes to an hour. And we're trying to find the best and the worst places to waterfowl hunt across the United States of America. Alabama was down towards the bottom. Alaska is going to be hard to remove from the top. I don't think anyone's going to be able to dethrone Alaska. But we're going to find out about Arizona this week. If you haven't already, go follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Flying V Outdoors. I'm always posting stuff over there for you guys. And we actually are about to do a giveaway over there on Instagram celebrating the 1-year anniversary. So that should be pretty fun. I'm not going to drop any spoiler alerts yet. But you can also, if you're not watching this podcast on YouTube, please go over to YouTube, Flying V Outdoors. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Check out a few videos and stick around. We got this podcast rolling for a whole year, so we got all this coming, plus all of our training and hunting season right around the corner, some more hunt tests this fall. So it's going to be a fun year. The first year of the channel, I think, was a big success. We've had a lot of growth, and we've dove into quite a few cool projects. So I think this next year for the whole Flying V thing is going to be really booming. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and do my weekly recap with Mr. Vang here, who decided to be late today.
What's up, buddy? Sorry about that.
Do you mind?
What's that?
You want to go ahead and let everyone know why we're late today?
Yeah, I was cleaning out my garage, killing time, and I totally lost track of time, That's what happens.
You killed too much time.
Yeah, I killed too much time.
What have you been up to the last week, man?
Dude, I've just been trying to clean up the house, and we've got, like I said, my charter school going up, so we just had a couple meetings with them and discussing, grand opening this year. So I'm excited for that. Been busy with that.
When do you guys open?
So the school year starts in September for us. So our grand opening is going to be in August.
Do you have students?
Yes, we do. We have we're a small charter school, so we're not expecting a lot of kids, but we have like maybe a 15-20 kids per classroom.
Whoa. So
K through 5.
Yeah. Without boring everyone, can you explain to me what a charter school is? Because I think I'm too poor to know.
It's basically just like another school, but we're a nonprofit school, so we don't. For example, we're not like public. We have to do other things, and it's more like people who own the school instead of the city itself.
So it's a private
But-
school.
Yeah, basically.
But you said
But-
you're non-profit.
Yeah, it's a non-profit school.
So how do you get paid?
Grants.
Oh.
Grants help us, and yeah.
So you
That's good
mooch
news.
off the government for your salary.
Yeah,
Really?
kind of have to.
Wow. Okay. Didn't take
Yeah.
you as that type.
That's how you make money, all right? You don't take from the people, you take from the government.
That's
Because
right.
the government takes from the people.
I heard that. Okay. Well,
But
what
yeah,
do I
what
need?
about you,
What
brother?
do I need to be a teacher?
Well, one, a teaching degree. So
In what?
whatever you decide.
Where's the degree have to be from?
Any university, I guess.
Define university.
I know you're not gonna be wanting to teach kids, so we'll just skip this question.
Was it like K through 12 or is it just
K
like
through
little
5.
kids?
It's little
Oh.
shitheads that you're gonna
I
hate.
can do that. Yeah. No, the last week for me, man, I haven't what have I done? I don't know. Every week I don't remember what I did. It's
Yeah.
like I said last week, man, it's all such a blur with, we're hashing out the final stuff, getting ready to close on our house next week and packing all our stuff and, doing this. I've been trying to pump out 2 uploads on YouTube every week. And then, working
Yeah.
a full-time job as well. I stay pretty damn busy. So,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
and it's been too hot to train. So really, yeah, it's just been kind of a big blur, but it's all good.
I'm surprised you're doing all these gear reviews while you're trying to move out and pack up your stuff. I'd be like, this is way too much shit. I'm gonna throw some of that away.
It's because I've been packing and I like stumble across stuff. I'm like, oh, this would make a good gear review. I like this thing. Like the MOJO. I was like, went and cleaned out my storage unit and I was like, oh shit, I never did a video on this. So I just like whipped it out. I was like, okay, well, I need to review this because I like it. That floater MOJO is sweet.
Right.
It comes at a price, but I like it. So you'd know that if you watch the video.
I did actually.
You
I
didn't.
actually thought that that black circular floating thing that holds it, I think that would be like a turnoff to the ducks.
Why?
I don't know, because it's black and it's like in the middle of a fucking water,
I don't know. I don't see how a duck sees, but
Dude,
I
they see
don't-
color and they flare.
is black a color?
It is, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it kind of blended into the water. I don't
know.
think
I-
it'd stand out terribly much.
Maybe consider spray painting it.
A black dog will just like sit in front of a blind and they have no care in the world about that. I don't think that's a turnoff to them. It's irrelevant. We're already going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. All right.
Colin is anxious to talk. I already know.
Yeah.
So everyone, we're gonna go ahead and get this show on the road. Colin's gonna talk to us about some Arizona waterfowl. So Colin, can you hear us good?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you guys hear me?
For sure.
Yes, sir.
So real quick, if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit, tell us your name, where you're from, what you do.
Of course. My name's Colin. I am a duck hunter living in the beautiful state of Arizona. Believe it or not, I laughing to myself when you were mentioning earlier in the preview, joking about how hard it is to find a duck hunter in Arizona, and you're not wrong. There's not a lot of us. But with that being said, I've been shooting ducks down here for about 6 years now, formally, and I love every minute of it. I actually grew up in Denver, Colorado for 18 years until I went to college, and believe it or not, I shot my first duck in Arizona.
Okay.
So really got into waterfowl once I went into college and really graduated college. And as weird as it sounds, we shoot ducks with saguaro cactuses in the backgrounds, and we have a good time doing it. It's not.
I like it.
It's not what everybody else thinks, but it works for most of us, I'd say. And overall, we seem to enjoy ourselves. Other than that, I spend a good amount of time duck hunting, spend a little time upland hunting, and I spend the rest of my time. I'm the area chairman for the Scottsdale chapter of Ducks Unlimited. So I spend a good amount of time in the off season doing conservation work as well too, fundraising that is.
Awesome. I will say you said it's not what everyone expects, but like I'm not gonna lie, I expected nothing but duck hunting around cactuses. Like I expect like a cacti blind. That's what I imagine when I think of Arizona. So I'm excited. Um, and so you said you're how long you been doing DU? How long you been involved with them?
I've been involved with DU for about 4 years now as a volunteer, and I actually just took over as area chairman recently. So this will be the first, technically second fiscal year, if you will, running the area chair of Scottsdale. We've got a cool little chapter down here. We're not nearly the size as most groups, just considering the lack of duck hunters, if you will, in the desert.
Yeah.
But for all things considered, we actually do pretty darn well, and we're relatively up and coming as a state as well. So it's cool to see all the fundraising efforts, and hopefully put more ducks on the landscape overall. So
Yeah, cool. I did a lot of help around here in Shreveport, Louisiana, with our DU, and the surrounding clubs, and we'd help with the banquets and stuff, and get tables and get everything set up, work the banquets, and I was pretty active in it over the last year. Well, COVID, first of all, I mean, it's kind of hard to with an organization that thrives off fundraising in person via banquets and events. It's kind of hard to plan a banquet when you can't even be around your neighbor. So COVID kind of strangled us there, and then I've been so busy with this and everything else that I really don't have room on my plate for any more food right now. So I've kind of stepped away from that, but I still try and help when I can. It's just my schedule's so damn busy. But I'm a firm believer. I like DU. I support DU, and I think I'm a firm believer that conservation is definitely the key to our future. But living in Louisiana, there are a lot of anti Ducks Unlimited people. They fucking hate DU here. Uh, I'm not kidding. I'm
Why?
speaking
Can you explain why?
dude,
because,
I've heard some stories.
yeah, I mean,
I know a gentleman who is from the southeast coast of Texas and grew up duck hunting down there, which is pretty darn close to Louisiana when you start looking at it.
mhm.
And he does a lot of DU stuff as well. And some of the stories from him, dude, I've heard them. It's absolutely wild. From like the whole flooded corn complex up north to the private ponds and stuff. We've heard some absolute riots of stories coming out of there.
Oh yeah, and it's like religion to them. I mean, they literally have like a DU hater Bible that they all like read every Sunday. It's crazy. Like to answer your question, Fang, they believe that Ducks Unlimited has these massive flooded cornfield heated farms in the north, and that's why they can't kill any fucking ducks on public land in Louisiana, is because Ducks Unlimited is capturing all these ducks and they won't let them leave. They're holding them in the northern states. That's their whole argument is solely based off of allegation, and there's zero facts in it. If I'll get on the Facebook group and try and talk like some facts with them, and we'll talk about migration patterns, and we'll talk about weather and global warming and real things that if you cared about, you could probably make a difference in. But no, they just fucking hate corn. Like that's their only argument.
That, and it's specifically mallard. That's why it's corn, because mallards love corn.
Yeah, they hate it.
It's not the gadwalls, it's not the ringnecks, because those are still there. It's the fucking mallards that aren't anymore. Which it's funny, but anyways.
That's actually one of my hobbies, is to hop on Facebook and play the fact game, and then it's entertaining. They get worked up, and then they'll like go look at your Facebook profile and start trying to make fun of your like personal life and shit, because and then that's how you win, is when if someone goes to your Facebook page and is like, your dog looks stupid, like that's how like, yep, you're wrong, and now you're just fucking reaching for something, dude. So I love it. That's like the best feeling ever. One day, no, we're not even gonna talk about it. We're getting off track already. But yeah,
Right.
So definitely DU is cool. I like them. Not everyone does, but if you ever want a real hoot, come down to Louisiana and Go try and knock on some doors and sell some tickets. You'll have fun.
All right.
But so you've been hunting for 6 years. So you said you didn't. So did you go to college in Arizona? That's where you went to college?
Yeah, I went to school, graduated back in 2015 at the University of Arizona. That is down in Tucson, which is kind of like southern Arizona. And ended up meeting my wife down there at the time. She's from Phoenix, and so we moved up here, and I've been living in Scottsdale since, which is more of like, I guess you'd say central Arizona. So
Okay.
I graduated, that's really when I kind of got serious about duck hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, prior to that, so Arizona, obviously it's a desert, so we got a lot of quail. We got some other upland birds as well too, but quail's a pretty big deal. And in college, my dad and I would go shoot quail down in southern Arizona and had a rip-roaring time. While we were doing that, there's these little stock tanks in between when the dogs are watering, and we always try to jump up and shoot some ducks in between. And it really wasn't until I graduated and moved up to Phoenix, Scottsdale area, that I kind of got serious about it. Got my first 12 pack of decoys and kind of went off the deep end, if you will.
Yeah.
My wife likes to put it, but it's been quite a wild ride since. And so I've been shooting ducks up here for about 6 years now, a little bit more.
So when you first started duck hunting up there, was there someone you knew that like got you into it to like a more formalized duck hunting, or was it just like on a wing and you did it by yourself? Or...
No, mostly it was, I went out every now and then kind of by myself, but there's a gentleman by the name of Joe, and met him off the duck forums. And, there's like sketchy websites where you can talk to other men about duck hunting, meeting up in the middle, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that was one of them. I met this, he's not middle-aged, he's a younger guy like me, but, met up with this guy, his name's Little Joe, and, met him at a gas station in BFE where the sun don't shine at, 4:00 in the morning, just based on the number. And man, he took me out for the morning. I brought my little 12 pack of decoys that my wife got me for a Christmas gift, little dozen hardcore mallard decoys. And we went on our first hunt. The funnier part is I've got 2 dogs now, but the original dog, he's a mutt. He basically looks like a German Shepherd mixed with an Akita. So not hunting whatsoever, but he would birds like he's no business. And so I brought him with me. And so it's me, this guy I just met at 4:00 in the morning, and he took me out to go shoot some ducks. And that was the first time that, man, it really turned on for me. It was, by most standards, it was a pretty darn good hunt. But watching those birds crest over the trees for the first time and, calling the shot at probably about 7-12 yards out, there's a reason I'm addicted now.
Yeah, that'll do it right there.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love those stories.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat it for these first time hunt, really, for the most part. It's just sitting on a tiny little water hole. I couldn't be more than about 20 yards wide by 50 yards long. And, it's, I think maybe a total of 3 dozen decoys out. Definitely no mojos, no duck calls or anything, just a little jerk rig. And as soon as that flock walked up from, I don't know, maybe 50, 70 yards up, just watching them backpedal right on in and calling the shot, you just can't beat it. And I ended up walking home with, 2 drakes and a hen, mallards. My buddy shot 3 as well too. And the rest is history after that. Kind of went off the deep end in terms of duck hunting and everything. Now I've got a full blown lab, 2 boats, all kinds of shit as well. But it's been quite the wild ride for these last 6 years.
Oh yeah.
So did your dog retrieve?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He retrieved for you too that day.
Oh yeah, man. His name's Rufus. And
Okay.
I'll send you pictures if you want to put them off the page or anything. Most people try it, but this dog's probably got about 5,000 retrieves under him for his lifetime.
Nice.
Yeah. He's no lab, and don't get me wrong, he doesn't have the nose or the ability to train, but man, he just absolutely loves retrieving. He's a loyal ass dog. He's easy to handle, and everything from geese to ducks, quail. Man, he'll retrieve it if you shoot it for him.
Nice.
Except for tennis balls, though. No tennis. Just.
That's crazy. Boone loves tennis balls. It's funny you brought that up. Boone's favorite thing. I think the only thing Boone would rather have more than a duck is a tennis ball.
Yeah, no. My dog's drive for a tennis ball is nuts. I wish he had that all day long.
Well, the problem is Boone does have that all day long.
Yeah.
But he loves his fucking tennis balls. So have you hunted any other states other than Arizona?
I have. I went to go shoot early teal out in Texas last year, and that was my first true out-of-state duck hunt.
Yeah, it was pretty good, huh?
Yeah, man, it's like Disneyland down there.
Yeah, Texas teal hunting can be pretty sweet. Were you southern Texas?
Southeast coast, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they have fun down there on the coast. Same with Louisiana. They hammer the teal in South Louisiana, and pretty much all season long from teal season through till February. But they're there year round, so
Yeah.
it's hard not to.
My buddy, he grew up there his whole life, and I'm not going to name cities or anything like that on his behalf, but he grew up there his whole life shooting a club, not necessarily a club, more just kind of like a family lease. And at this point, he would put that up with just about, early teal hunts anywhere else in the entire world. It was pretty special stuff. I've got some pretty cool videos of it as well, too, just watching, balls of, 35 birds come right on in, feet down, just like it's nobody's business.
Oh yeah, it's on my list of like things to do. Is to go to. I haven't been on a teal hunt in South Louisiana or Texas, but it's on my list is to go on like a coastal area teal hunt. And we talk about my list of things to do all the time though, and I have yet to fucking check anything off of it.
And I guess you probably deal with these on the regular, but gators. That's the one thing I don't fuck with gators. I live in the desert.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with gators. And
yeah.
I don't do gators. Like gators swimming in the duck hole. Like you pull up in the morning, and I don't know how much you know about teal hunting and stuff, but typically it's in rice fields for the most part. And got a good farmer. He'll go ahead and mow a couple circles to knock down the right little landing strip for the birds.
Yeah.
And pull up in the morning, and you look down, and there's 4 sets of eyes. Oh, swimming in the rice field.
Yeah,
all right, let's go piss them off and toss some decoys. Great.
Oh, it's a good time, man. I'm originally from Indiana, which we don't have any gators up there. And I moved down and I got to Louisiana in 2018, so I've been here for 3 years. In my first duck season here, like it was teal season. We were hunting this private property. I'd never seen a gator before, and I'm throwing out decoys, and you got your headlamp on, and you can shine it across there, and you can just see eyes like fucking everywhere. And they were like 100 yards away probably, so I wasn't that worried about it. Like I was like, oh, this is kind of sketchy, but I was only like 15 yards off the bank, wading out there, and I was shining them, and I told my buddy, he was staying on the bank, I was like, hey man, just keep your spotlight on those eyes. If they move, like do something. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. Like do something. So he's shining them, and I'm throwing out these teal decoys and setting up a MOJO. And he's like, hey, the eyes went away. He's like, what? And then like I shit you not, they just pop back up like 30 yards away from me. And I have never moved faster in my life. And that was my first encounter with a gator. Since then, you kind of like grow numb to them almost. Like, I don't know. I don't really worry about them that much. I mean, we kayak hunt. We do a lot of wade hunting. And like, there's gators. We'll, in the morning, at least early season and teal season, especially one of the smaller ponds we hunt on, I guess a small lake. I don't know. It's a bigger body of water, but you'll see at least 15 gators paddling out to your spot in the morning during teal season. And you're just like, you just keep your eyes peeled and keep your light shined, all around, looking around. But we'll be doing that. And then, early season, our season comes in mid-November, depending on if it's hot or warm. It varies on how many gators are out and about. So like last year, early season, we saw 1 or 2. Then we got a good cold front. Once the water temperature drops, they're not a concern. They're very lethargic,
right?
And you're not worried about them.
there's some special temperature like below, I don't know the number, but like below 65 degrees, they're just not going to come mess with you, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think once the water temperature is below 55.
55.
Yeah. So I'm from up north and we don't have to deal with gators, but can you shoot them?
No.
There's no hunting them or anything?
There's a gator season, yeah, but you can't just like go out and be like, oh, there's a gator and fucking shoot it. Yeah, you have to apply in like March for like tags, and it's a big process. But no, you can't just like pop them.
Okay.
I wish you could, like, because sometimes they're too close for comfort. And you're just like, I don't want. I'd rather you be dead than near me. So that may be fucked up to say, but like, I don't want you around. But once the temperature drops, we'll wait around. I mean, we could see one there one day, and then next week we'll be walking around in there. So it's one of those things I try to not think about, because if you think about it, you're going to be worried about it. So if you just don't think about it, you're fine. Just that's my advice. Just pretend they're not there, and
I gotcha.
If they don't see you, if you don't move, they can't see you, right?
So what about your dogs? Do you send them out there knowing that there's a gator out there?
Well, no. If the water's warm, my dog stays at home. Yeah, I'm not taking him.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I'm not taking him out there. No, but once we go, if we go out and like you see no gators, like all right, the next day, Boone's coming hunting, and I'm not. You're not doing any crazy retrieves. I mean, most of your retrieves are within like 40 yards during duck season in the water. You know what I mean? So you'd see a gator before he swam up and ate your dog. In that case, yes, like we're all dumping shells.
Then you can.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if you can. Like, I don't know if it's legal, but I will take that one to court over my dog being literally eaten in front of me. That would be like the worst thing ever, I feel like, is watching your best friend go pick up your duck, and then like he just turns around with the duck and you're like, yeah, good boy, and then just gone.
Okay, let's not get off course again.
Oh, that's a fun topic. But you distracted me. You brought up gators.
Sorry.
Back to Arizona. So what kind of birds do you kill in Arizona?
Depends on what you want to hunt. I kill mallards, widgeon, and pintails in that order. I'd kill a lot more pintails if they raised the limit above 1, but that's just the life it is. I think I shot, I don't know, technically like 14 limits of pintails throughout the year, meaning I shot 14 birds throughout the year. And that's pretty much it. We shoot. If you want to shoot other birds, we got a bunch of shovelers. We got a bunch of teal coming through as well too. I'm guessing we don't get the same number of diving ducks that you guys do. We get a bunch of ringnecks, but we don't have a huge amount of bodies of water that can really sustain the other type of diving ducks. I forget what they're called, but the poacher family or whatever, the canvasback type of guys. Most of our lakes out here, aside from like the Colorado River, are essentially flooded out canyons, meaning that it's a seasonal river that runs through. They dammed it at one point, and they dammed it in a strategic point to fill up as much from a reservoir standpoint as possible. The sides of the river, the sides of the lake are pretty much just like straight up canyons. Doesn't really promote a lot of aquatic growth, and we don't have a lot of divers. Most of the ducks that we shoot are usually going to be puddle ducks. Mostly, I think widgeon, teal, and mallards are going to be the top 3, like year by year, just overall as a state.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
No, man. And I'll tell you this much. We're one of the only states that you can shoot 7 greenheads a day.
I was about to ask you, you said 1 pintail. What are your limits in Arizona?
So in the aggregate is 7, and sub-limits are pretty straightforward for most parts. We're allowed 7 birds overall, which is nice. There's no mallard limit aside from a 2 hen limit, meaning that I can shoot 5 greenheads and 2 hens, or I can shoot 7 greenheads. But the most can shoot are 2 hens, and you guys got like model ducks right down there. You know what those are?
Yeah.
So we got a variation. It's actually not a variation. The biologists would ding me on that because they actually just got their own, species classification. But we've got Mexican ducks, which look pretty similar to that. And so
Yeah, I know what a Mexican duck is.
yeah, so you're only allowed 2 of them as well too. But other than that, man, I can shoot 7 greenheads. I can shoot 7 widgeon. The other limits apply to canvasbacks, which I believe are 2. Redheads are either 1 or 2. Pintails are 1. But it's pretty darn generous. Oh, and Scaup has a limit as well too. But like I said, we don't really shoot that many diving ducks, to be candid with you.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good life to me. I mean, last week with Alaska, I mean, what was their limit? 8, and they could just shoot like 8 of anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like they could just shoot 8 ducks. It didn't matter what. It was just 8 ducks, except for like I think the only thing they were limited on was a canvasback. It was like 1 canvasback.
Huh? That's weird. Yeah, we not quite that cool, but many states that you can shoot 7 greenheads with 75 degrees out and sunny. I mean, it's
that's
deal down here.
That's what I'm wondering. What's the weather over there when you're hunting? Because I would assume Arizona is just hot.
Yeah, man, it's hot, and that's the beautiful thing. Ducks come down here; they just got to come down here eventually, and we don't get the same, like Grand Passage migration that everybody else does. But man, most days I'm shooting ducks, and it's between 75 degrees, 80 degrees. Last November we were shooting ducks, and it got up to about 95 degrees one day.
Holy shit.
It's beautiful, and morning time gets nice and cool, especially down on the water and everything. You might take the boat out and it might be, I don't know, 45, 50 degrees. But pretty much just wear a pair of waders to keep me dry, and a nice light jacket just for a little bit of camo. It's beautiful. There's no heaters, there's no insulated waders, none of that BS. There's no breaking ice. We don't fuck that kind of stuff.
Damn.
It's
wow.
Nice.
Sold.
Yeah. Field hunts are a pleasure. I usually just wear like a pair of khakis and a t-shirt and some muck boots and call it good.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. That doesn't sound terrible at all. That sounds like I told you Arizona was going to be an underdog, man.
No, he's not wearing jackets. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm shooting ducks in shorts and a t-shirt and Crocs, I mean, I'm taking it.
Hey, don't. Yeah, as long as you're not knocking the Crocs, we're okay.
Yeah, don't knock the Crocs. Crocs are where it's at.
I'm wearing my right now as we speak.
I'm good with it.
Integral part to the Arizona wardrobe.
So far for Arizona, we got good weather, 7 greenheads. How's the public? Do you hunt public or private?
I actually do a vast majority of public land hunting.
How is public land there? How accessible is it? How much is available? Is it pressured? Would you like to elaborate on that?
I would, and it's very different than the East Coast or the Midwest. Out west here, I think it's like 60%, 70% of our state is public land. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we're talking about just a handful of refuges across the whole state or just a couple of, small bodies of water. Public land is public land, man. It stretches across the entire state. And as long as you're willing to get off your butt and go work for it, you can get away from the crowds pretty darn well.
Yeah.
We are a very populated state. We have, oh man, they're going to kill me if I get this wrong, but it's about 5 million people in the city of Phoenix. And there's not a lot of water. So when you do the math, we end up having some competition, but I'm guessing it's not like Louisiana, right? It's not like Bayou Metu or however you pronounce that, where people running over each other in boats and stuff. But
yeah, people are stupid.
You do have to spend a little bit of time to get away. The entire western side of our state, like the entire west side, is the Colorado River. Big ass river, a lot of ducks, a lot of area to cover, big ass lakes, refuges, feed, farms, agriculture, all kinds of good stuff. All public land too. We got it's actually not the northern part of our state, because the northern part of our state's majority Indian res, but we've got a good amount of the mountain zone is what we call it actually. And there's just a bunch of, big ass reservoirs up there, kind of low laying swamps and stuff that don't but that they do ice up early. And then we got some other like rivers that run throughout the state, not counting all the central area where there's a good amount of agriculture. We got a bunch of reservoirs as well too. And man, pretty much if there's water, pretty much it's public. Got a bunch of lakes, but with that being said, if there's agriculture, obviously agriculture's private. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that like here we have, Louisiana has a bunch of public land, but it's not good public land. I will say that one downside to Louisiana is their like wildlife management is pretty piss poor at best. And it's funny because like you mentioned, there are a ton. I wish I had an actual number for you, but a ton of waterfowl hunters here. So you'd think with all the money that we could generate just from licenses, just the state stamp alone, it's like $5, right? But I mean, when you multiply that by the thousands, that's a lot of money being generated. And unfortunately, it doesn't reflect on the public land that we have here. It's very poorly maintained. Which all we do, I mean, I hunt 99% public land. So you can find birds there. It's just there's so much potential in our public land that it kind of falls to the wayside, in my opinion. So
we deal
at least you guys have a lot of public land that's not terrible.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly the best. And like I said, it's hard to kind of understand, but
You made it sound pretty good though.
yeah. I mean, we have a good amount of fun, but you got to work for it, though. I will say.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just walk right up at the refuges, right? We do have some refuges in our state, but if you're going to go hunt those, yeah, man, you're dealing with past shooters. You're dealing with maybe 5-10 people out there on the refuge in a day, and if you have a good day, you might shoot 2-3 birds a person, maybe 4 birds a person. But there's a lot of land that's just kind of like unexplored, and if you're willing to go do a little bit of four-wheeling, maybe take the boat up the down the lake a little ways, you can usually find some birds if you're willing to work for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Who do way better than I do, and they exclusively hunt public land. So it's it's just kind of how hard you're willing to work. That's one thing you mentioned about Louisiana, not taking good care of it. It's not that our game and fish guys don't take good care of it. It's just that waterfowl's, incredibly low on the priority list.
Yeah.
We don't even have a waterfowl liaison or anything like that. The closest we get is a small game biologist who happens to be a duck hunter. In addition to other hunting, a pretty big dove hunter, pretty big upland hunter as well too. But he does a pretty good job for us. But yeah, man, a lot of it gets kind of left to the wayside. We've got a bunch of refuges that are kind of just sitting in decay. Fields don't get planted. Things are just closed straight up. But if it was managed right, and I think we're trending in the right direction, we got a good group of guys in there right now. But if it continues to trend in the right direction, man, it could be a hell of a lot of fun. 5-10 years down the road from now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of sold on Arizona. I might have to come to Arizona and shoot some ducks.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't sound as bad as we thought it was going to.
No, it really is. It depends on who you talk to. I'll be candid. If you talk to some boy from Arkansas who's used to hunting, a lease where they could roll up to the blind every, week, and it's, a freshly flooded soybean field or something. Okay, a little different. We don't got that kind of stuff here.
But they're cold.
Yeah, I guess
the weather's what's like where I'm at, sold at.
Oh, dude, weather. If you're good with weather and if you're good with shooting, 7 ducks a day, 5 of them are mallards, 2 of them might be teal. Yeah, we're the place for you.
So with that being said, with how awesome it is in Arizona, what is your number one dream state to go hunting?
Oh man, I don't know. I really want to do some diver stuff, like off Cape Cod or something like that, Massachusetts. Or up in Alaska for that matter. I've heard that that's some pretty incredible stuff. I've got a good buddy who makes a trip down to Mexico to shoot brant, and that's pretty high up on the bucket list. But I don't know, man. That's about it.
Yeah, right. You're right there next to Mexico, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but you ever heard of talking about getting guns into like a socialist country? Nah, man. They don't take kindly to that shit. So it's kind of a process. And the Brant don't really hang out right by the border, obviously. You got to kind of hop on a plane and go fly a little bit further south. But yeah, that's about it, man. Diver ducks, or diver ducks, but sea ducks and Brants. That's kind of what I want to do. Oh, and I will say, full disclosure, man, we don't get geese in Arizona. Yeah, snow geese are more of like a mystic illusion than anything else.
That's not a.
What we said?
It's not a disappointment because, like, I'm gonna be honest, we didn't even expect you to have ducks in Arizona.
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna be like totally fair with you. I had like my premeditated list of states, and I think Arizona was like 50 of 50 as far as like best to worst. I think Arizona was pegged last for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you either.
Not anymore though. No, I think you sold it. I think you're like a front runner or in the middle at least. You're in the you're in the middle. We'll just say the middle. We're too early into this
Yeah,
to
we just
be
started.
ranking. But out of the three, I think I would go to Arizona before I went to Alabama.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there you go. You're tied for, well, you're in second.
You're in second.
It's not bad. First, last.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Oh, go ahead. Ryan.
So what is like I'm gonna ask this because this is my question I ask to everyone in different states. What is your best duck recipe? Or how do you cook your ducks?
So there's two different answers to that. My best duck recipe is duck confit tacos. You can't beat it. There's nothing better in this world. How I cook the majority of my ducks is I put them into either like sausage or brats. Last summer we did a big 50-pound batch of just like breakfast sausage and smoked brats, and those were awesome. I'm about to drop some off at the butcher right now, probably closer to like 75 pounds of it. Basically, it's going to be green chili cheese brats, and oh, dude, it's good. It's really good stuff. And so I really enjoy that too. But if you're looking for like the best recipe out there for duck, I'm going to go with duck confit tacos. You don't use the breast, you only use the legs. And I'm guessing you know how to make confit itself, but basically you just slow cook it in a bunch of duck fat until it falls off the bone. You take that, and then before you put it on the taco, you go ahead and braise it or get it nice and hot and pretty much fry it again and get it nice and crispy. Put that in a little flour tortilla, not corn. A little bit of pico, a little bit of pico de gallo, a little bit of like cabbage and some slaw, a little bit of mayonnaise or whatever that is for you, some sauce, and my God, is it good? Some people do it like a sauce as well, but that's my favorite type of duck.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's my new favorite type of duck. Yeah,
I gotta try that out this year.
That's and this is the second week in a row we've heard something about like sausage and breakfast sausage, and that's I wrote that down last week. That's on my list of things to do this year. But I have two things on my list. So
yeah, it's good, man. Admittedly, a lot of our ducks that we shoot down here, I don't trust pintails anymore. I get a lot of rice breast pintails, so those all get breasted out. But unless it's going to be like a big fat widgeon with bright white fat, I typically try to breast out most of the ducks. By the time they just don't have the same amount of fat that the rest of the country ducks do. Mm-hmm. And that sausage and those brats, oh my God, is it good? It's just delicious.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm daydreaming about it right now. You guys got me hungry. And the tacos. I make I make fajitas and tacos. Duck tacos. Well, I just fucking love tacos in general. I don't know many people in this world that would turn down a taco, but
right.
Yeah, like anything like duck tacos, fajitas, quesadillas, anything. All you gotta do is just put duck in it, and it's good.
Have you ever tried the confit before? Duck confit?
I have not. No.
So
I'm going to.
Yeah, and it's spelled like confit. It's one of those French words, but in my opinion, that's the best way to do duck. You basically just like slow cook it in its own fat until it falls off the bone. and then you crisp it up right up again, and it's just, oh man, it just makes your mouth water.
It's like you're trying to seduce me. I like it. That one I already typed it down here in my notes. I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna make a video of it.
Good.
And it's probably not gonna turn out how it's supposed to.
Right, I'm over here looking at the pictures on Google, and I'm like, damn,
We'll put
good.
a picture up on the screen right now. It sounds fire. Yeah, I'm glad you had that, because I think we're gonna get a lot of generic answers, but yeah, you sold me on that. What did you get your degree? Did you get your degree in fucking sales or what?
Close enough. No, no, I'm a finance.
Random question there.
Finance? Yeah. You should definitely you should definitely start selling shit, dude. Like, if you were booking a guided hunt right now, you would already have my deposit in your bank account. And it's not like you're selling it well. Some more like basic questions we ask everyone. We already know you got boats and dogs. What kind of boat do you got?
I got little misfit boats, man. First one is like a little 15-foot modified V. My buddy's a welder and did a bunch of custom work to it. So we got like a little like a Pierrot rack looks like. We got like those built in with, floodlights, spotlights, nav lights, and everything. So nothing fancy, but just basically, a little 1546, modified V John boat. And then the second one is a little, you ever heard of a Beavertail Stealth 2000?
Yeah. Like the big, like, kayak type deal.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It's 12 feet long, 36 inches wide. It's got the dual pontoon style, and it's more stable than you can believe. And through all the madness, I ended up modifying it a bit, and I got a 11 horsepower mud motor that I run on that thing. And
I was just about to ask you, like, I've looked at them. I kayak hunt a lot, but I'm looking to pull away from my kayak setup that I have now, because I'm lazy and I like things to be easy, and I want to put a motor, but I don't want another full-size boat. I want something for myself and my dog. I've looked at the Beavertail several times over the last couple of years, but I want one, and I want to slap a longtail on it.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
You like it? And it's nice?
Oh, dude, it's my favorite thing in the world. Yeah, man, I'll send you some videos and everything afterwards. But
please do.
Try it. Right now, we're in bass fishing season, so I take it out to the lakes with the dogs and everything. And dude, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I use it during duck hunting season. It's exactly what you said. It's me, and it's me and one dog in gear. Or I can fit me and two dogs in fishing stuff. But during season, man, it's just me, one dog in gear. I got a coffin blind on, like coffin blind doors, if you will, on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a little self-sustained hunting system. I can fit about 3 dozen decoys, my MOJOs. At this point, I usually just use jerk rigs anyways. And I can anchor as much as 40 feet of water, or I can just pull it right up against the, reeds itself. The motor itself is pretty smooth. I don't know how much research you've done, but a lot of them are off the back handle. The one that I built is modified, and so it's transomed, if that's a word, off of the seat itself. And so it's forward, and it gives me perfect stability. I can do about 18, 19 miles an hour, which between me and...
Damn, that's pretty fucking fast for a little guy.
Oh,
that sounds sketchy.
A little bit too fast between you. But yeah, man, I can do about 19 miles an hour, fully loaded down, and I can cruise. And with that much weight, it takes me about 5-6 inches of water versus like the 4 inches that they advertise online. Yeah, man, we cruise in some skinny shit, and
that's what I'm looking for. Like, I'm glad you own this, because you can look at my Facebook like search history and shit, like my marketplace, and like that's all I've been trying to find is one of those. So do you like layout? You have like a layout blind on it, you said?
Basically, yeah. So it's got a big, I call it a cockpit, but it's a flat floor. And when I get all set up, I just flip the motor around, and it actually sits on the side. And I don't know if you're familiar with Momarsh, but they have like a little ratcheting layout pad itself, and basically just like a little chair essentially. And I got that kind of built in where I can slip it in when I get ready. I got little tabs welded onto the side of the cockpit, and I've got blind doors attached to that just literally swing open like you're in a pit blind almost. More like a blind, but they're actually on a hinge. And yeah, man, you just shoot the ducks right in the face. My dog sits behind me. Most times than not, she's stable. The old dog Rufus, he's very stable, but he's like 10 years old, getting a little rough now. And yeah, it's a duck killing machine.
Yeah, I think you sold me on that too.
That's funny.
Because I kayak hunt.
The whole.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. I was joking about it. I tell everybody I used to do the same thing, man. Not kayak hunting, but I used to paddle. I used to hike and everything like that. And I just got fat and lazy. And after a while, I just decided I need a motor. I need a mud motor, not half the way there, but just all the way there. And a little flatbed trailer to put this stuff on, and you'll be in business.
Well, see, I kayak hunt. I have a blind on it, and it's a beast. I love it because you can hide anywhere, like you said, and you're just self-contained. You don't have to worry about anything. What I don't love is it's also a beast to paddle, especially when you're weighing it down. It's just a tank in the water. But I hunted out of it. Then I bought a 16-foot Pro Drive.
Oh.
And last year, so I ran my boat all year last year. Well, I sold my boat this spring. I want to get back into my kayak. But then there's I hunted out of a boat all last year side of me that doesn't want to paddle every day. So I'm trying to find a compromise within myself of like, I still want to be low profile, self-contained without paddling. So that's my answer. I'm going to find one. Next time you talk to me, I'm going to own one. I'm going to send you a video of it. But
Good stuff. I'll send you a little diagram. It's a cool little motor mount we built up. It works pretty damn well too.
Please do.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
You got to get one, Chang.
Yeah, I think I do. Well, yeah, like I've hunted out of one of those beaver tails. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've hunted those. Well, I had a paddle, and that shit wasn't fun. But I might have to slap on a mud motor for that too.
Yeah, that's the move this year. What shotgun do you shoot, Colin?
For the longest time, man, Remington 870 Express that I got when I was 12 years old. And for my wedding present about 2 years ago, my wife actually bought me a Benelli. So now I shoot a Benelli. It's the ultralight, which is actually an upland gun, but I tend to smack the ducks out.
I've got that gun too.
Ultralight?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's what I use. Man. I shoot a bunch of quail as well too, and so between ducks, man,
Wait, is yours a 20 gauge?
No, it's a 12 gauge.
Suck that one.
That's been ripping on me for having a 20 gauge.
I wish my wife would buy me a Benelli.
I got a wife, I'm not gonna lie. She puts up with all my duck shit, and she bought a shotgun for my wedding present.
That's awesome. At least we know she supports you.
She does.
But what's the key to that? You support her, right?
I do. She loves the dogs too. That's how we first place. And so she loves the fact that I take the dogs out. She knows how much the dogs love to go retrieve and go hunt and everything. And yeah, I support her as well too. But it works out. I'm pretty lucky.
There's your answer, ladies and gentlemen. The key to a happy wife is giving as much as you get.
There you go.
That's for all the young guys. I have so many friends that argue constantly about hunting, and I've said it before. I don't know if it was in a video or a podcast, but I respect the hell out of Maddie for putting up with all the shit I put her through. Like, I'm not even just me, us. We are not easy men to be in a relationship with, period, to live with. I mean, like if you're a hardcore, not even waterfowl, but just a hunter, I mean, you're wired. Like if you're like me, that's all you think about. Like even year round. I mean, it's fucking July and I'm sitting here at 8 o'clock at night talking to some random dudes about ducks. Like, you know, and she puts up with it. I'm like, hey, babe, go in the bedroom and stay quiet because I'm doing a podcast. You know, all from November, well, really from September when hunting season first starts until February, she doesn't get one weekend with me. Like, I'm just going. If I'm not hunting, I'm getting shit ready. Like, it's just, you know, and then with Boone and training and the channel and everything, like I have so much respect for her and how much she puts up with, because I know if she was that involved and committed to something, like it would be very demanding to support that. So, yeah, the key to everyone is you got to give back when you can. I'm just fortunate that like she puts up with way more shit than most people would. So I don't know. Just throwing those out there, trying to get my brownie points for this season.
And nothing like having your wife come home and there being 14 dead ducks sitting in the fridge waiting to get plucked.
Yeah, she loves that. She loves when I pluck them in the kitchen. That's her favorite thing.
I don't actually. So in Arizona, it's too hot to pluck them outside, so we have to pluck them in the kitchen.
I did. That reminds me. I wanted to ask that. Are you, when you're hunting, you're hunting in these warm temperatures, are you concerned, like if you're hunting late morning and it's getting in the 80s, 90s, do you guys take like ice chests for your birds, or are you concerned at all about meat?
Yeah, I don't. And I kind of preface that with, man, I'm a pussy when it comes to wild game. I like eating good tasting food. I don't want to eat bad tasting food.
Yeah.
So I always bring a cooler with me. And if it gets hot, I'll toss my ducks in the cooler once I get back to the car. But, honestly, man, waterfowl are pretty tolerant birds when it comes to like spoiling and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, if you're going to be hunting all day, okay, maybe you got an issue with it. But as long as you keep them out in the sun, we don't really have an issue with that.
Yeah, no, I was curious because, like, we'll be dove hunting. Like when we're dove hunting, like if you leave your doves out for too long, like especially here, it's hot as hell in September. I mean, if you're hunting until 10 or 11, like they're starting to get hot and squishy and stinky. And like you said, I'm not a pussy, but I don't want some rotten ass dove meat. Like, so I was just curious, like if you had any like preventative measures you had to do, or if that was even a thing. It's cold enough for us that we can just throw them on the floor and they just get colder. But
no.
What shells do you shoot? What are you running that Benelli?
Boss
shot? Yeah, you like it?
There's no reason to shoot anything else, man. Yeah, I'm a math guy. I like numbers and shit. Obviously, that's what I do for a living. And dude, you start looking at ballistics and what it takes to kill a duck and a pattern and everything. And you can also talk with the old timers and shit, man. Steel doesn't do the trick.
Yeah.
Steel is just not an ideal low or metal, if you will, for killing ducks. And when you start looking at bismuth, dude, it's just not fair. It's just really not fair. There's no cripples. There's no ducks swimming away. There's no winged ducks with feathers gone. There's just dead ducks floating upside down. And I'll tell you this much, the dogs appreciate it the most.
Well, and, it's fun. I'm glad we talked this week, Colin, because I've been looking at Boss too, and I was going to order a case of Boss shot because it's your laughing thing. Why are you laughing?
Because it's like, it's just how he brought up Boss, and it's something you're looking into, or the boats and stuff like that.
It's perfect. I know. Thank you.
It's just perfect, That's why I laugh.
But I was looking at it because it's a reasonably priced shell. It's not that expensive when you break it down for a case of shells.
I don't know about that. I find it to be expensive, but I'm done with the days of shooting Rios. Okay, I've been there, done that. I've got God knows how many cases. So if I'm shooting heavy metal, if I'm shooting Black Cloud, or if I'm shooting Boss, those are all the same price. And for that, I think it's the best shell on the market.
Oh, do you shoot the 3-inch or the 2 3/4?
I shoot the shorties.
Yeah, well, that's everyone I know shoots the 2 3/4. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, and
because a case is what, 280, 270?
No, man, it's like 250 shipped to your door, tax free.
Well, they're even better. That's $25 a box, dude. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that is not that bad. And it's ducks. Like if your percentage of ducks killed goes up from 50% to 75%, you're using less shells. And I'd probably only use a case of shells in a season, and that's if we had like a good season. I mean, we don't get that many fucking ducks.
I'm not that good at shooting, but fair enough.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like if you're hitting, I would say 2 out of 3 shots is a reasonable assumption.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Right? Yeah, 60%, 66%.
I think about 50-50 is what I'm going home with. If I can shoot my 7 ducks with 15 shells, I think that's fair.
I'm with you, buddy.
I'm probably shoot 50%. Some of the people I hunt with are gonna come on here and comment and make fun of me. I think I shoot 50%, but there's, you know, like I shoot cheap shells. I always have because I'm a cheap ass. And you know, you'll shoot, like if I feather a bird, I know it should be dead. That's why I want to go to a nice shell.
Yeah, I will say the big thing is the cripples. I'm talking about 14 shells, and that's everything that I went through for the entire day. Like I would kill my 7 ducks with just 14 shells, not 14 shots and cripple cleanup kind of thing, but like 14 shells, and maybe one of them was to water swap one of my buddy's ducks kind of thing.
Yeah,
it knocks them dead. And
I have like a 90% cripple rate. It's not even. Why are you laughing? It's not a joke. I'm being serious. He's changing my life. He's advising me. It's like we're on his podcast.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, we get so many. There's very few birds that we do not have to clean up on the water.
Yeah, man, it's tough. We hunt in some pretty nasty places, like where the ducks want to be in Arizona. To give you like a little understanding of kind of the ecology of the Arizona, we got these big ass reservoir lakes, and they change water levels like upwards of 50 feet a year, kind of thing, between the monsoons to the dry season to the winter rains and shit like that. Yeah, up and down. And so what happens is in the dry spells, they get like a bunch of tree growth and stuff, and like the inlets of the lakes. And then when the monsoons come, all that shit gets flooded up, and basically, man, you're hunting flooded timber. It's kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And the ducks are in there. They're not eating aquatic stuff. They're eating bugs. And it's like some kind of nasty, like deadfall situation, you know, gnarly snarls with, you know, it's essentially 20 foot of water with, you know, a 30-foot tree, 10 foot above water. And, you know, it gets nasty back there. And not having to send the dog on cripples or have her swim through, you know, cattails and stuff, it makes my life a lot easier. I really think she appreciates it the most.
Yeah, no, I heard that. I put that on my to-do list, boss. I got to run that by Maddie first. We're moving. We're closing on a new house next Friday. So,
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you, but it kind of sucks because my hunting budget is kind of cut down now. So, if anyone's listening to this podcast and wants to sponsor Flying V Outdoors, I need it more than ever right now. One last question for you. This is the most important question to me. What is your go-to morning snack in the blind?
Coffee, and there's these little peanut butter pretzels from Costco that come in a big ass tub, and that's what I eat all season long. Coffee and that.
Coffee and peanut butter pretzels.
Yeah.
I'm not a peanut butter guy. I feel like that just sounds like a recipe to make your mouth retardedly dry.
That's why I got the coffee.
I like it.
You're not wrong. It makes your mouth retardedly dry.
Yeah, well, I like peanut butter and salt.
It's peanut butter, salt, and pretzels, like dry pretzels. Yeah. Really dry.
No,
but that with coffee, oh, it's fantastic. And to be honest with you, it's usually iced coffee, right? Because we're talking about, you know, pretty warm weather, but
yeah,
it makes for a really nice morning.
It's not bad. At least you didn't say honey buns. I'm making a list of everyone who says honey buns, and I'm blocking them on Facebook.
No, I got a couple buddies actually who are just fantastic cooks, and so we invite them out as much as we can. And they usually make like breakfast burritos and stuff like that. But that's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, we cook in the blind when we hunt the blind. Well, I'll bring a little camp stove and a cast iron, and we'll make breakfast burritos is usually the go-to. But I need something to get me through the morning until we get to breakfast burrito time. Because usually we don't eat into formally eat in the blind until probably like 9.
Oh, you're an eat after hunt, not eat before hunt.
Yeah, I don't have time for that, dude. Like we've talked about on here before. I'm not a friendly guy in the AM. So I keep them. I don't want to cook for people. I don't want to hear people bitch. I'd like to have my light. I don't, it just, we're going to wait till after. We're going to wait for the big morning flight to come. We'll see if any bigger groups wake up late. And then when it really slows down, we'll pull out the stove and we'll start cooking. I enjoy being in the duck blind or wherever. I'm the type of person who will sit out there for hours telling myself it's gonna happen soon. I'm an optimistic hunter. I don't know why, because years of doing it has proven that I'm usually wrong, but I wait out the storm per se.
Man, I don't know about that. Some of my favorite hunts are in the afternoon.
I don't hunt the afternoon here because I hunt the mornings. I don't know how people do it. Some people, I've heard of people going out at sunrise and sitting duck hunting until sunset. I couldn't do it. I need a fucking nap.
Oh,
I mean,
no, I'm talking about going to work until like 10 or 11 in the morning, and then driving to the duck blind and shooting the afternoon birds.
I've never tried that here. I don't really want to either. I just don't. I'm not optimistic about that here. I don't think it would work.
So
maybe I'll try it this year.
I'm a warm-blooded hunter. So in January, it gets a little cold in the mornings. It gets down to 25, 30 degrees. And I like to let it warm up back to 50 before we go back out. So hunts, they're pretty nice.
Nah, see, I'm the opposite. Honestly, I will if I see a low, if the morning low is 20 degrees, I am 10 times more likely to get up and go hunt that day than if the morning low is 55. I don't know. I don't know. It's different for you guys, I guess, because it's warm there all the time. But for me, warm weather is bad hunting.
Agreed.
And it's not even it's not even necessarily true here, because we've had shoots on warm, rainy mornings that were good and productive. It's just it's how my brain was wired. And it's one of those things where it's old habits die hard. And I'm a stubborn old man who won't let that go. It's cold mornings are good, warm mornings aren't. There's no factual evidence behind that.
I think there could be some, especially when you start talking about storm fronts coming in and everything, birds moving on a weather pattern.
Well, I'm not. I'm just I'm just spewing opinion. I'm the guy on Facebook bitching about the corn in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We do have Vang here who lives in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Are there giant duck sanctuaries with DU signs that are filled with corn?
Not that I'm aware of or have seen.
But there could be.
But there could be, yes.
That's all we needed to know.
All right.
I do have I have one more question for you. I said that was my last one, but I do have one I have to ask you because I had someone comment on our last video and he wanted a freaking answer. So let me pull the comment up so I can quote it verbatim. His name is Dakota.
Of course it's Dakota.
Yeah,
Dakota I know.
Yeah. Well, he asked late too. He was like, I did a poll on Instagram. Well, then he commented on the video and was like, ask him this. And I was like, well, dude, you just listened to it. I didn't say that, or was it on Alabama? Did I forget him last week?
Yeah, I don't think you asked or mentioned Dakota last week.
Okay, I can't find the comment. So maybe it's not on there. Now I look like a jackass. Maybe it was on Facebook. My Wi-Fi is being slow. We're about to get new Wi-Fi too. That's like my number one priority for our move is Wi-Fi, and I spent 45 minutes on the phone with AT&T customer service today because that's who we use for Wi-Fi right now. I talked to 3 different people from presumably 3 different countries, and never actually got a solid answer. So,
Have you considered looking at like I don't know if you guys have Xfinity down there, but
that's what we're
Xfinity's
switching
pretty
to
good.
now.
Yeah.
Because AT&T is not offered where we live. So we are getting Xfinity. I can't find this comment, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Sorry, Dakota. Text me your question, and I'll answer it next time. But that's going to... We broke over our hour mark. It was nice talking to you, Colin. I appreciate you for coming on, man. I know it was kind of random. Like, I messaged this dude on Instagram, and then he sent you something. I don't know. I don't even know how it worked, but he messaged you, and then Colin met me through Instagram like last week. So we got it hashed out, but he was more than willing and excited and brought some fun, interesting conversation to the show. And I'm, like I said, Arizona actually sounds like a pretty good state to go. So I am going to put that on my to-go list. So right now I have Alabama and Arizona. I'm going to have to put a limit on how many states I can add.
Right.
Because I'm going to end this with like 40 states that I have to go to.
That's funny. Well, hey, when it's when the rest of the country's all frozen up, man, you're welcome to come on down here. We shoot ducks through the 31st of January, and we have a pretty good darn time doing it.
I might take you up on that. Vang might take you up on that. His country will be frozen like 3 months.
Yeah.
Cold up in Minnesota. Minneapolis. It's cold as shit.
Yeah, it sure is.
My country doesn't freeze. But I'll still take you up on it. If our duck season sucks, I might book a flight to Arizona. But again, I appreciate you, man. Vang, I appreciate you for showing up late today and still being able to do the podcast. Thank you again to all our listeners. If you're on YouTube watching this, like I said, like, share, and hit that subscribe button, guys. We're slowly creeping up to 1,000 subscribers. That is our new goal. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I promised some dude I would give away a Rogers A-frame. I promised him this when I had like 100 subscribers, and I was like, "Oh, no, we're gonna have 1,000." Well, we're getting pretty fucking close, so I need to put that money aside. Once we hit 1,000, I'm giving away an A-frame. I'm a man of my word. So if you're not a subscriber, hit that button. Maybe you'll get a free A-frame out of it. Who knows? Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Flying V Outdoors. Head over to Spotify or wherever you stream your podcast. Type in the Flying V podcast and check us out over there as well. Give us a follow. Guys, I appreciate y'all's time. Colin, I'm going to be staying in touch with you, man, because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of fucking questions for you. I appreciate you again, man, and we're going to make sure here in the next couple weeks when I get the 50 States of Waterfowl shirts in, you're going to be on my list of shit to send. So let me add you to that list right now. I appreciate all y'all. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.